Our second communication partner strategy is wait time. And this is one that I think a lot of educators are familiar with because it applies not just to communication, but it's a strategy for behavior de-escalation, for just even general education instruction for students. It's a very, very common educational strategy. For AAC, it's an intentional pause provided to the person using AAC, allowing them time to process the information, formulate their message, and then potentially communicate it using their AAC system. Wait time tends to be very uncomfortable for most people. And we all, I know I do personally, but a lot of us have a tendency to maybe jump in too quickly. You can interrupt the student's thinking process, and sometimes maybe they were going to initiate some communication and we jumped in too quick. So I think everyone could afford to pause and wait just a little bit longer. So we'll watch a video talking about wait time and then do some practice and discussion.
Pause. Give time for AAC learning. 5.3.
Wait time is a powerful teaching tool that supports learning by directing the brain to focus on specific ideas and providing time to process those ideas. This extra processing time actually strengthens synapses within the brain. The amount of wait time needed varies from learner to learner. In general education classrooms, when teachers expand their wait time from the average of 1.5 seconds to 3 seconds, qualitative and quantitative improvements are noted in both the questions that are asked and the responses that are given by both students and by teachers in the classroom. It can be helpful to think of wait time as think time or pause time. Important activity is happening in the brain during that time that supports learning. It's not just empty waiting.
Expectant looks accompany pause time to show an individual it's their turn to respond and to invite them to do so without interrupting their thinking.
Expectant looks and pause time are used by active and engaged communication partners to quietly demonstrate a genuine commitment to the interaction, without interfering with the thinking time. For learners with complex support needs, pause time may be needed to support cognitive processing, visual processing, motor planning, or coordination and execution of movements. For some learners, all of those factors are relevant.
For some learners with complex needs, pause time can feel like an eternity. Just 5 seconds can feel long. But for many learners, more than 30 seconds is needed.
When providing pause time, pay attention to the subtle cues that show your learner is thinking. Body movements, looks, leaning in, gaze shifting, vocalizations, or other behaviors may let you know thinking is happening during that pause.
It may be helpful to record video of these interactions to see what effective pause time looks like for your learner. Use the status bar at the bottom of the video to note the length of time needed to respond. Do this a few times to get an average. Avoid the urge to interfere with pause time by verbally cueing or encouraging your learner if this seems to interfere with their thinking.
It can feel awkward to provide an extended pause, but remember, knowing your learner's wait time helps you know how to support them. Providing appropriate wait time is a skill you will develop because for many AAC learners, pausing to provide time to process and respond is imperative for them to learn and communicate.
So one thing I really like in that video is the suggestion of filming the student to come up with an average of what the wait time they need is, because it may not be the same for every student. And it's a very common accommodation in students' IEPs for wait time. But if you're receiving a student with an IEP for wait time, you don't really know how much you should give, what exactly that looks like. If we were able to be more specific and say this student needs an accommodation, that a wait time of at least 20 seconds, that would help you, but would also help maybe the next campus and next set of staff that work with that student to know more specifically what it is that they need. And then you have a balance of, do I need to provide 30 seconds or is 15 enough for this student? So I really liked that suggestion of coming up with the average of what a specific student needs, because it's going to differ between students. A common concern when we talk about wait time is, well, I gave the student wait time and they got up and they eloped from the room. That's different than needing some time to think. We've lost them in the process and they're getting up and eloping the room. So give that wait time, let the student think. If they get up and elope, then respond to the getting up and eloping, because that was, maybe during the time they were thinking, they then thought, I want to get out of here and got up to leave the room. But it's still a beneficial strategy to give them time to think and to see what it is that they need and how to better support them. So this link over here that says research is an actual research article that was done where it showed that if students were given a wait time of up to 45 seconds, not only were they more likely to respond, but they also gave longer responses. So I want you to think, we're not in a live group together, but just think about, you can practice to yourself asking a question, which is something that we typically do to our students, and then practicing giving that 45-second wait time. Not all of your students are going to need 45 seconds, but some of them might need 30. And I think we can all agree that it probably feels pretty awkward. I know I feel awkward giving a wait time like this, but practicing can help you feel more comfortable with it. So think through this, think through a question you might ask your students, practice saying it to yourself out loud. And I'm going to start the timer for that 45-second wait time. Now that we've practiced wait time, let's look at our next communication partner strategy.